Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. This is our annual training. We did it the last 3 years now. Actually, just a brief overview of what the commission does. What I'd like to do is start by just introducing you to the commission itself. We have our chair, Ben Woolery, who's here today. Myself, Vince Canales, Jim Holderbaum. Carl Stemmer is not here today, but would have been here, just had a conflict with his schedule today. Jay Fagan, Alan Kolsky, Dan Thomas. Fred Sussman is our commission attorney and the one who keeps us on point and helps us move through the process, the acting city manager and the guy who keeps us in line, Mr. John Fitzwater. And we thank him for all the effort and work that he's done for us over the last, since I've been here. So thank you again for everything. Well, then let me back up. What you're going to get today from the members of the commission is, and each one's going to come up and present a small portion of it, is an introduction, and then they're going to go through different items contained within it, which will be the purpose, the duties and process, and outreach that we've done as a commission. What I would like to do is ask that if there are any questions, hold them until the end, at which point you may wind up getting some of it covered throughout the presentation, and whatever's not covered, we'll be able to answer at that point. And what I will do now is turn this over to Mr. Jim Holderbaum.
Thank you, Vince.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you. It's good to be back in front of the council. So to start, in terms of the Ethics Commission, first a couple words about its purpose. And there's two main objectives to the ethics law, both in our city and our state and across the country. First is it's geared towards maintaining the public's trust in our public officials and employees, and that's the genesis of ethics commissions around the country. Secondly, residents have the right to be assured that the impartiality and independent judgment of public officials and employees will be maintained. So the gist of what we have to do relates to that. It reflects the council's commitment and the public's expectations to avoiding improper influence in matters of city business, meaning our overall city code for ethics reflects that. Our purpose is to look at disclosure of financial affairs, setting minimum standards for the conduct of city business, addressing conflicts of interests, gifts, recusal, that is not situations where there should be non-participation by different officials, secondary employment and financial interest restrictions, the prestige of office or misuse for personal gain, and participation in procurement, contractors and vendors, and also the disclosure of confidential information. This commission, our commission, is responsible for administering the ethics law, and in fulfilling this, there's 5 overall duties that we have. The review of financial disclosure forms, which you're all very aware of, we issue advisory opinions when called upon, oversees lobbying, registration, and reporting. We address ethics complaints, and provide educational programs for the public. Now Dan will talk a little bit more in detail about some of these processes.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Yeah, these are some of the processes and forms that we use to conduct and perform some of these duties that I know you all are familiar with. Oops, did I do that? Am I doing that or are you? Okay. One of the roles that we conduct is the review of the financial disclosure forms. I know you're all familiar with those. We oversee the submission of the disclosure statements each year and review the statements for compliance with provisions of the ethics law. Next. The financial disclosure form is a matter of public record, and each of you and any elected official, anyone seeking elected office, signs these under oath. The state mandates what is required on this form and statement, and it does reflect the city code, which is approved by the State Ethics Commission. The commission is there to assist anyone who is subject to this filing. Next. Schedule G, the general income sources, asks, did you or a member of your immediate family have an employment or hold an ownership interest in any business entity from which you or an immediate family member received earned income, and that in the form of salary, wages, or tips? And it defines immediate family as an individual's spouse or their dependent children. There's an exclusion for minor children under the age of 18 if their business ownership or employment is not a business entity that does business with the city. And I think, is that all? No? Yep. Yeah? Oh,
That's Dan. That's you, Dan.
oh, this is me.
Yep.
I'm sorry. The tag team got upset there. An additional process is the issuance of advisory opinions regarding the application of any of the ethics ordinance. Any official, employee, or other person subject to the provisions of the article may request an advisory opinion concerning the application of this article. A request must be in writing, and that can be either in the form of a letter written or an email. We ask that you include the name, job title, if you are a city official, employee, or volunteer, and your contact information. And it must include all relevant facts for the inquiry, and note that the identity is kept confidential on those inquiries. Now it's Alistair. Sorry.
Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Good evening. Part 3, overseeing the lobbying activities, both registration and reporting. Can you jump ahead to the next slide, then go back to that one? It makes more sense. First of all, who is a lobbyist? A lobbyist is defined in the city code as someone who communicates in the presence of a city official or employee with the intent to influence any official action of that official or employee, or solicits others to do similar activities. And it may not just be communication, it could be gifts, food, entertainment, other sorts of remuneration in order to influence decisions by the council. Not that I think any of you would ever do that, but okay, now we can go back to the first one again. Okay, any person who engages in lobbying activities must register annually as a lobbyist and file activity reports with the commission twice each year. Those activity reports are filed January 1st through June 30th is due by 31 July. July 1st through December 31st is due by January 31st of the following year. Okay, next one. Okay, in terms of the registration, lobbying registration is required by any person who engages in lobbying before the council who acts as a lobbyist if that individual spends, exclusive of personal travel and subsistence, a minimum of $250 during the calendar year in furtherance of activities, or receives compensation in excess of $100 in connection with those activities. So that's just for registering as a lobbyist. For a lobbyist who actually expends money in lobbying activities, who expends in excess of $200 in aggregate or $50 on food, entertainment, or activities, they're then required to file the activities report every 6 months. Another process the Ethics Commission is responsible for is addressing ethics complaints. Any person may file a complaint with the Commission, but that report must be in writing. There's no anonymous complaints allowed. and it may be referred to the city attorney or its own legal counsel if appropriate for investigation and review. In addressing the ethics complaints, if it's determined, and it's all based on what its is the Ethics Commission. So if the Ethics Commission determines that there are insufficient facts upon which to base a determination of a suspected violation, it may dismiss the complaint. If there's reasonable basis for believing a violation has occurred, then the subject of the complaint will be given opportunity for a hearing conducted on the record, and any final determination resulting from the hearing shall include findings of fact and conclusions of law. After a complaint is filed and until a final determination by the Commission is made, all actions regarding the complaint shall be treated confidentially by the Commission. And moving on to Jay.
Good evening.
Hey, welcome, sir.
My name is Jay Fagan, and one of the duties of the Ethics Commission is to educate the public, and so I hope by the end you'll feel like you maybe got educated or at least entertained. The section, I'll go back for a minute. Section 2-69G of the Public Ethics Ordinance states that the Commission shall conduct a public information and education program regarding the purpose and implementation of this article. So that, like I say, that's what we're here doing tonight. And we're available, the Ethics Commission is available to discuss these ethics ordinances with, and we've listed some examples, professional organizations, civic groups, a homeowners association, student groups, high school business classes, pretty much anybody that would request that, or if the City Council feels like we could be used to do that. I'm retired, my wife's retired. I'll use any excuse to get out of the house and go talk to somebody if you'd like for me to, but anyway. The website, on the website and also in the Bowie Spotlight, there are articles in there from the Ethics Commission, about the Ethics Commission, and we're available one-on-one or whatever with any member of the city staff, as we know that most everybody has to, on the city council and on the city staff, has to submit their financial disclosures, and so if there's any question as someone's going through that process, we're available for that also. So, and on our website, the www.cityofbowie.org/ethics, that's where you can find the blank financial disclosure forms, lobbying registration forms and reporting, the blank forms for those, the advisory opinion procedure, how to get an advisory opinion from the Ethics Commission. I know that that's something that we recently did an advisory opinion. That opinion is published in the on the website there. How to file an ethics complaint, the instructions for that are there on that website. And then what is the procedure once this ethics complaint has been filed, and then our minutes from the Ethics Commission meetings are there on our website. And so with that, I'll turn it over to our chairman, Ben Woolery.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. So what we're just trying to do is kind of get you to see where we've been, because about 4 years ago, things changed a lot. One of the things you heard me say a couple times was, give me more bodies. You can see we've met that demand. I'm fully complemented. I've got 7 people, regular attendance. My alternates are pitching in there left and right every chance they've been called upon. So it's real good progress here in the last few years. Here's our stats. You can see really things just are typical of more of a tribunal sort of situation. The statistics just speak for themselves, and they are what they are, and there's no pattern up or down. It's just the best thing is that we've had no complaints filed in a couple of years. Really good stuff. We like to keep it, low-key and behind the scenes. Thanks to Mr. Fitzwater. He does most of that preparatory work, and we sit there and make sure that I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Now, each of you, I think, has submitted an application, a disclosure by now, and I think most of you, we've sent back a clarification or two, and that's usually because we may see something in there that just doesn't work on the form, which is fine. That's your job, is to fix it. Once in a while, we'll wonder to ourselves, now, wait a minute, that person does have a relative who works, so they should be saying something about that, but we get that usually through other channels and get it cleaned up. So please bear with us. We've talked about a couple things here without addressing it specifically that have happened chronically. So just be careful, and we're speaking not just to you on the council, but also to everybody else in the city, because this is for the taped audience as well, the city employees and the chairs and commission members of other volunteer groups here for the city. So please read these forms carefully. We don't like sending them back anymore than you like seeing them a second time. Last page. And I think that is the website address that John Fitzwater monitors for us. And so just get it in there, and we'll be attending to it on pretty much a monthly basis. That's all I have.
Mr. Stead?
Real quick, Mr. Roller and the whole team, I just want to say thank you for the good work you do. Appreciate your presentation tonight through my coughing and hacking. There are not enough antihistamines in the world this week. Real quick, related to the lobbying forms you're getting, I don't take a mental note, but I'm curious, since this is your department, what sort of things are folks filling out the lobbying forms for? What are we being lobbied for in the city of Bowie? I'm curious.
I can let anybody else address that. My sense of it is that we get what's given to us, and we don't reach out to monitor things, and we don't even watch you guys, frankly. But Vince usually is a good historian, so.
A lot of it is the developers that are coming forward before the council. So those individuals who are basically doing business with any of the developers or soon-to-be projects that are coming down the pike, they have been doing a much better job, and Fitzwater and the staff here has been doing a great job of ensuring that those individuals who seem to be coming forward on behalf of an entity, not maybe speaking for themselves as a citizen, but on behalf of a developer or some other business entity are filling out these forms to ensure that we're getting an opportunity to review them and just make sure that they're above board.
So we're predominantly looking at developers then?
Yes.
Sounds great. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and the idea is that if a citizen wanted to inquire later on, Mr. Fitzwater's staff make sure that all the forms are filled out so that it's there for them to deal with and use at a later date. We're not scrutinizing things unless there's a complaint brought to our attention, but we just make sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
I appreciate it, and appreciate the good work you guys do, really. And I'm glad that you're at full complement, so very good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, other guys? All right, well, first of all, let me thank you all for being here, and thank you for what you do. It's important, for the strength and viability of the city to have a strong and effective ethics commission. The only comment I have is more of a grammar than anything else. If you look on page 2, the last line says setting minimum standards for the conduct. Is it possible to delete the word minimum so that the section would read setting standards for the conduct of business? Maybe I'm the only one that reads that awkwardly.
Yeah. We'll work on that next year. You've given us our first homework project.
I didn't give it to you in writing, but again. But thank you guys for what you do. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, it just dawned on me. You said you give workshops for various groups. Do you do this for the Scouts, too?
That would be a group we'd certainly come out to. Yeah, we'd certainly come out to that.
I don't know if there's a badge that they can earn, but I'll check and see. Maybe you can give it to the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts. Citizenship.
You have to come up here because people at home can't hear you.
That would be citizenship in the community.
Great.
That's where Carl is right now, right?
Well, he's handing out money.
For the staff?
For the rec council.
Okay.
But yeah, there's citizenship in the community. I was a scoutmaster, so I know that. And that'd be good just to tell them about that.
I
And
will
just
absolutely
in general.
tell them, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.